Cool.
So this is Zainab. She's a really big supporter of mine who I have had the pleasure of talking to in my Discord server so many times. She asked just incredible questions, and I thought, how cool would it be to do an interview with a fan? Because who knows the music better and who has more context than a fan? A lot of times journalists ask me questions and I'm like, you have not listened to the music, you know? So everyone give it up for Zainab one time, yeah?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Of course.
It's gonna take like 5 minutes for my anxiety to like calm down.
It's okay.
So just bear with me.
I'm here to ramble and give you time
please.
to breathe.
I appreciate that. So definitely want to start off by saying thank you to Russ for like inviting me here and just giving me the opportunity to do this. I was scrolling through Discord and I found like, I think my first mentioning of wanting to do an interview was like 2022 or 2023.
Wow. Yeah.
So like this is my own kind of manifestation coming to life. So I have like screenshots of that. So like the fact that this is actually happening and that I'm here talking to you is like my literal dream come true. So thank you so much.
Of course.
And for your team, for everyone to like make this happen. Yes. So I wanted to start off by saying like, again, I've been a fan for a really long time and I have a lot of like respect and admiration for you and your craft and especially the community that you fostered, like not just through Discord, but like all social media platforms, all that kind of stuff. You have given us, like your fans, a space to not only connect with you, but like connect within.
Yeah.
I know for me, myself, I've made so many friendships that like I know will last a lifetime from people from all over the world, like genuinely. So that wouldn't have happened if not for you.
Yeah.
And I think I speak for a lot of people here when I say that like I became a fan of you and I am a fan of you because of your music, but I stayed a fan because of your personality, your kindness, your authenticity, and like
Thank you.
that's what keeps me coming to shows. That's what keeps me like going to your like random pop-up events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just want to start off by sincerely like thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
I just want to say
of
that.
course.
All right, anxiety was a 5, now it's a 4.
Nice.
All right, so
Here we go.
I have like a vault of questions that I've like held for years. So I'm super excited to get into it. I did want to have a little bit of structure, so I did want to start off by talking about your new album, Wild.
Yeah.
From what you've shared so far, the focus of it is navigating the wild or unknown of your internal world and thought processes so that you can better engage with your external world in a healthier, more positive way.
Yeah.
So my first question is, at what point did making this album and kind of investigating that wild feel like the next necessary step for you? And to clarify what I mean by that, was there a specific memory or turning point or like aha moment where you realized that there was so much more of yourself that you don't even know yet?
I think that when I wanted to go into this album process, it was just, I could have swore I was probably about to make another like heavy concept album, you know, like Santiago. And I don't know if it was an aha moment or just sort of realizing through numerous therapy sessions that, okay, my life is more than just the problems that I have going on. It's robust, it's round. And I think for me, I don't know about anyone else, but it's very difficult for me to look at my life as this round, robust experience. Like when there's fucked up shit going on, I'm just like zoomed in on the problem. And when there's good shit going on, unfortunately, I'm not like super zoomed in on that either, because I'm still kind of like, well, it's not that good because there's some fucked up shit going on. You know, I don't allow myself fully to appreciate it. So I think just early on in the, well, actually, you know what? Maybe there was an aha moment. On the first song I made for the album, it was a song called Embrace. And shout out to Jake Jepson and Kiri Gerbs in the back. Raise your hand, guys, man. These two right here, I made the whole album with these two guys. They're from Australia. They're fucking incredible. Make some noise for Jake Jepson and Kiri Gerbs, please. So, Jake, an incredible songwriter, producer, same with Kiri. Found them on TikTok just scrolling. They're fucking amazing. Jake had this like loop up of like him playing the guitar and singing this like incredible melody, and I hit him. And I'm like, bro, this shit's fucking nuts. I want to rap on this. I was like, are you cool if we change the hook? And I kind of correct me if I'm wrong, but I gave you like just the framework of like what I wanted you to be talking about. And what I wanted him to be talking about on this song called Embrace was, man, instead of just resisting life's natural unpredictability, I need to just embrace it. I spend so much time like fucking exhausting myself trying to like change outcomes, control outcomes, and make things go the way I want them to go. And then when things naturally don't go my way sometimes, it's like a gut punch. It's like I feel betrayed by the universe. Like, what the fuck, didn't you know I was manifesting this though? Like, how could you, you know? And so I wanted to talk about just embracing life, embracing the unknown. And so I gave that concept to him, and he sang this incredible hook that's on the album, and then I just rapped for like a minute and a half. And that was the first song that I made after Santiago that I said, oh, fuck, I think I know what the next album needs to be about. And that was what, like October of last year? Yeah, so like October of last year, I made that song, and I was like, oh man, I think I know what the album needs to be about, which is just embracing life's unknown.
For sure. I think that's something that I'm sure many people have to like come to terms with themselves, is like sitting in distress or sitting in uncomfortability or not knowing what's to come in your life. I'm sure there's other perfectionists out there as well. Like, you want to do life right. You want to do all the necessary things, do everything that you want to do. And then if you make a mistake, then it's like, fuck, then like, I don't know, am I gonna let it curse?
Yeah.
Okay. But like, then it's like, all right, well, am I even worth it? Or am I a bad person or whatever?
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes it's a good reminder for us and for a lot of other people of like, it's important to sit in that uncomfortability, because that's what it is. That's what life is. Not everything's going to be perfect. Not everything's going to be coming out and like manifesting the way that you want it every single time. So I think that's a really important lesson.
Even what you're saying, like sitting in that uncomfortability, that is something that I resisted for so long. And the way I avoided being uncomfortable or dealing with it was, in the past, it was drinking, going to the studio, or women. Like, that was it. It was like, wait a second, that's right. I don't have to sit in this. I don't have to deal with this. I can drink. I can call a chick. I can go to the studio. And I thought that I was like somehow being positive in that regard. Like, yeah, like I'm not letting it beat me, you know? But I wasn't really ever dealing with it. I was actually very scared to deal with it. And I never thought I was one of those people who was like, oh, you're scared to be alone. Like, I always looked at those people like, what's wrong with you? Like, you can't be alone. Like, what do you got going on? And I'm that. I didn't realize that, because if I wasn't in the studio, if I wasn't, you know, with a girl, and if I wasn't drinking, I was asleep. You know what I mean?
I feel like I've heard my friends say this to me, because I'm a big napper.
Yeah.
People who sleep intentionally, like they're trying to waste their life away. They're trying to like not live at that point. You're not living because you don't want to.
Yeah, I was not down to face what I was dealing with. Certainly not sober, you know? And I think this album and just this phase of my life is me Santiago was the start of saying, all right, let me stop moving for a second. Let me stop trying to distract myself, whether it's women, alcohol, even the studio. And let me actually inquire to myself, what's going on? You know? And Santiago was the start. And then this album is me, like, after having done a lot of self-excavation work, it's me sort of saying, okay, I know I'm uncomfortable. I now know that, like, I'm scared of really being seen and perceived on a bigger level, you know? Because it just makes me feel like I gotta be even more perfect, and it makes me feel like mistakes are, like, cannot happen. There's too many people looking at me now. But I'm gonna go anyway. You know, I'm gonna go after what I want anyway, you know? And it's scary, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah. And now, after like starting that process, because again, there's no end to that, it's a continuous process.
Right.
What is something that you learned about yourself or your internal world that maybe you didn't know before making this album?
that I was scared of more success. Yeah. Because it was a scary realization because I was worried about how my fans would look at me. Because they met me as a certain version of myself. You know? You guys ever date somebody and you guys met as version 1.0 of each other, and naturally, as you became a newer, evolved version, it just didn't work anymore, you know? It just didn't click. Not because like they were a piece of shit or whatever, but it was just, oh, that doesn't align with what I'm on anymore. You know, you're going that way, I'm going this way, and it just is what it is. And so for me, I'm like, damn, man, I came out so gung-ho. I want it all, give me it all. And it's because I didn't know what the cons were. I was so focused on all the pros, all the good stuff that's about to happen. And I was so naive to think that there was never going to be anything bad that comes with this shit. And now, because of like the experience, I know that there's more fucked up shit on the way. And so I'm like, damn, man, I'm barely able to handle this level of fuckery. Like, maybe I don't want more success because I know it's going to be more fuckery. And I'm fucking hanging on by a thread at this fucking level. So y'all got it, go ahead. But then my ambition jumps in the fight and says, what are you doing, bro? We didn't come this far to come this far. You know what I mean? Like, life isn't over yet. What you about to do?
It's a never-ending process.
Yeah, just like give up. So I had to just make that decision, and it's a decision I have to make every day, which is I am going to go after everything I want, fulfillment-wise, regardless of the fuckery that comes with it, because there's no life that you can curate that doesn't have fuckery attached to it. There's no life you can curate that's gonna just be like bullshit free. I don't care how much money you guys get, how much fame, how much whatever. There's always gonna be some bullshit. Always. And I spent my whole life trying to curate this perfect life where nothing went wrong, and and it's just not real. And so this album really is just like navigating adulthood. Like that's the phase of it. It's growing the fuck up, which, I think a lot of people in this room maybe like did before me, probably, might be looking at me now like, dog, what, you're 32. Like, what's the deal? But I got success at 23 years old. I made my first $1 million at 23. And all that did was confirm the way I thought back then. It kind of propelled me into this suspended adolescence in a sense. I didn't have to grow up. My life was sick. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? I don't gotta fix my life. My life looks awesome, and then there is no problems. And it's really hard to take inventory on your life internally when externally everything is going right.
And I think that, like, you were mentioning Santiago before, and I wanted to ask, like, I wanted to point out that this is the first album since Santiago. And I don't know about you, but for me, I'm a very visual person. And for some reason, now my brain categorizes your music into pre-Santiago and post-Santiago.
Wow.
Because for me, it felt like a rebirth almost of, like, that was one of the more raw and, like, authentic pieces of work that you've done. Not that, like, other ones haven't been.
No, for sure.
But this, I felt like, or Santiago was more confronting. So something that I wanted to ask was, now, does making music with more self-awareness make the writing process easier? Or would you say that there is more inspiration or incentive when you are less introspective?
To your point about Santiago, I think Santiago was my reintroduction to my fan base. It was like really fucking scary because it's like I put out self-help books and it's like, here's this dude with like this fucking heavy therapy album. It's like, what are my fans gonna think? But it was a necessary reintroduction to show people that there's more depth than just me saying you can do it, believe in yourself, And now just being more aware and navigating all this stuff, as far as does it make the songwriting more difficult? Yeah, it's more demanding because I want to dig deeper. And digging deeper is tough. It's so easy to write like surface level, just motivational shit, like you can do it and, you know, trust your gut and shit like that. But it's tough when it's like, okay, well, how about for the people who don't trust themselves? Like, why don't they trust themselves? And maybe where's that coming from? You know, that's tougher to write about.
So it's harder, you're saying?
Yeah, it's harder, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And also, like, comparatively, with this album, you mentioned it's going to be a lot different than Santiago, where Santiago was in chronological order from the beginning to end, or beginning to present, maybe. Where Wild is more of like an amalgamation of different stories and different parts of your life currently. Which style of album do you enjoy more, both as a producer and as a listener of music?
I think as a listener, I don't prefer concept albums. I just did a concept album with Santiago because I had to. Like, I needed to get that story off in order for me to even be able to create from a clear-headed place now. But I know it's like, it's not the easiest listen, because you got to listen to it in order for it to like kind of make sense. And then even after that, it's like, you know, some of the stuff is heavier messaging, you know? But from a creative perspective, it's really fulfilling to make something like that, because it's like you're creating this like puzzle and you don't know where any of the pieces go yet, and then all of a sudden like it all kind of comes together and it just flows in this perfect way where it's like it's something to really look back on and be proud of.
Did making it change your perspective on concept albums, like for
it did.
artists that you listen to?
It really did. It gave me a way bigger appreciation for concept albums, because I was like, you know what? This was really hard to make. This was really, really intentional. And I think now more than ever, I'm trying to be intentional with everything I do. Santiago was so intentional. The rollout was intentional. The listening sessions were intentional. Like, everything had a purpose. And so that's really what I learned from Santiago, is to be intentional with everything. And so with Wild, you know, from the artwork to the album trailer, it's like just wanting to express myself on a bigger level than just the music, and on a deeper level than just lyrics. You know, I want everyone in here to just fucking like pay attention to themselves. Take inventory of yourself, what's going on internally, especially the men in here who feel like you're not allowed to, you know, and you gotta just get over it. It's like, take inventory. No one's saying feel sorry for yourself and, you know, sulk around the house and woe is me. Like, be resilient, but take inventory of what's going on, and try to give yourself grace and try to give yourself understanding, just in hopes that you can move forward through life without so much pent up resentment for your fucking self.
And I wanted to talk about some of the songs in Wild specifically, but before getting into that, I had a question about the artwork, which is so convenient that it's right here. So before I ask my questions, maybe in a few words for those that don't know, can you explain kind of what is it about, how does it relate to Wild?
So for those who don't know, like Kid Super, one of my good friends, Colin Deland, he did There's Really a Wolf album cover, he did Zoo, he did Shake the Snow Globe. But he's just like a very close friend of mine, and I lean on him for like creative advice. So obviously I went to him to get the artworks, and he just submitted a bunch of stuff. One of them was this, and he was like, I didn't do this one, but I found this. It's fucking crazy. He was like, I hesitated putting it in the deck because I know you're gonna pick it because it's minimal. But I'm like, well, yeah, it's awesome though, and iconic. And so we like linked with the artist who like made this guy named James Kaufman, really sick. But the reason why I picked him, why it stood out to me, I just love how ambiguous it is. I love how unknown it feels. You know, I looked at it, I didn't quite know what animal it was. I liked that. You know, it kind of reminded me of how I don't really know what a better version of me looks like. I don't know what an evolved version of me looks like, and that's okay, as long as I'm like headed in that path. I like that it was just sitting on this white backdrop. It felt very out in the wild, out in the open, out in the unknown. And And then really the last piece to it was how it's looking back.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that like, it just embodies like, you're leaving your comfort zone, you're going out into this blank canvas of this white unknown space, but like, you're still looking back at your comfort zone because you're just not sure. And it just feels like where I'm at in my life, you know, like, all right, I'll go out here, I'll go into the unknown of life, I'll go after what I want, after more dreams and all that, but like, let me just like look back one time to make sure, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, that part was the thing that that caught my eye the most and like first. So I wanted to ask, like, do you ever find yourself looking back more than once, or maybe looking back more times than you would like? You know, looking back to familiarity, to your comfort zone, to like, of course, now you're wanting to go into the wild, but like, are you truly there? Do you ever look back?
Yeah, it's like an everyday decision, you know, to put myself out there in uncomfortable situations. And you know, what I mean by the unknown of life is certain opportunities sometimes that would come my way, I would just say no to because they felt scary. This was like social anxiety shit. You know, I've passed on a lot of great opportunities because I simply was like, I'm going to be too nervous there, I'm not doing it. You know? So even little things like that, you know, like there was an Apple Music event, for example, like in LA like a couple weeks ago, and I got invited to it, and usually it's just like, I'm not going to that, you know? Because I'm like, there's going to be like famous people there, and I'm like, I'm not dealing with that anxiety, like, I'm going to stay home, and then just be like, yeah, like, fuck them anyway, you know? But I was like, you know what? Let me just go. And I went, and I was okay, and it was fun, and I met a lot of cool people. And it's like doing shit like that just sort of like makes you feel more capable than you felt before going, you know? Because you're like, damn, I did it, and I was okay, you know? Or like when I met Will Smith for the first time, and they wanted that to be on camera. They didn't let us meet beforehand. They wanted our first meet to be on camera, filmed, and like everyone be quiet. There's 60 people on set, and you guys can't say hi to each other before. I'm like, oh my fucking God, give me a drink, you know? But I was doing this thing where I was like, I really want to see what I can do, not sober. Because, I mean, sober, Jesus.
Not sober.
Because part of what I'm talking about is doing hard shit, you know? And I think I was able to curate my life where I didn't have to do anything hard. Everything was pretty easy because I said so, because it could be. You know what I mean? And so I was like, nah, man, I gotta just fucking try to do it sober. And so I did. And I was nervous as fuck the whole time talking to him. I'm like, oh my fucking God. But like, I'm looking at him, I'm like, I've seen you in so many movies. You look like an alien right now sitting next to me. It's like,
right now, I'm not gonna lie.
It's like when I met Snoop Dogg, which I was very high and very drunk for. But I remember looking at Snoop like, yeah, like I just feel like you're not even here right now, you know? But so I did that with Will Smith, and I was like, wow, man. Yeah, like maybe if I was drunk, would I have like said something like way funnier and cooler? Like maybe, or I would have like said something really dumb. But the worst thing about drinking your way through things is that afterwards, for me, I always end up giving the credit to the alcohol and never to myself. And so I robbed myself of so much credit that maybe I deserved. Because I would get drunk and do the show, or get drunk and meet someone. And yeah, I crushed it, of course, because I was drunk and I'm awesome and I'm charismatic and da-da-da-da-da. But then the next day, I'm like, you're not that fucking cool, dog. You had to drink your way through it. Like, and so all last year, I like really made it a point to do shit sober, hard shit sober. And yeah, that's what I mean by the unknown, man. It's like, I didn't know how that conversation was gonna go sober. And I just had to have faith. And faith is a really tough thing for me to have. Because faith requires me to trust somebody that's not me. And in the past, I'm not letting this shit out of my hands. I'm gonna drink so that I can make sure this goes well. Because I don't have faith. I'm not trusting anyone that is not me, including God, the universe, whatever you want to say. I'm not even leaving it up to chance. That's how like scared I was to surrender and have faith.
It sounds like at this point now you're like fully prepared to go into the wild, and like maybe you're not looking back too much. It sounds like.
Oh, well, I mean, I look back in the sense of, no, I definitely look back because it's still easy to just like be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And
but it's also like you need to give yourself grace and give yourself props for putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations, like the Apple Music thing or whatever. So I think that's a balance of like, yes, like do what you have to do, put yourself into this unknown, but also like if you're looking back, or if you're nervous, or if you're reverting back to old habits, it's okay. Just maybe have more awareness of that to kind of keep pushing forward.
Yeah, grace is so important, and it's easy. I mean, you guys know it's like if your life is set up in a way where you can make it kind of easy for yourself, where like you don't have to do hard things. Like I'm talking about little shit, like dudes as adults, it's so hard to make friends. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like going up to that dude at the gym, and be like, you want to hang out? Like, you know what I mean? It's like that shit. That's hard, and you can just convince yourself like, I don't gotta do that. Like my life is okay. It's easy, you know. And so I think a lot of people, we stay where we're at because we're scared to do the hard shit. And so our life is a product of what it looks like to just take the easy way out with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I feel
even like going after your dreams and going out, that's hard, you know? It's hard to have that it's hard to feel motivated. It's hard, all that stuff. So that's really what this phase is about, man. It's just do the hard shit. And it's okay if you don't know what it's going to look like, you know, do it anyway.
I think if you don't do the hard shit, you just stay stagnant at that point.
Absolutely.
Like for you as somebody who's so obsessed with progress and like moving forward, like how do you balance that like drive within yourself, but also like this new version of yourself that's trying to give yourself grace? Like where's the balance, where's the line?
Oh my God, it's so tough. It's such a good question because it's so tough. Yeah, because I want progress so bad, but I also know that nothing is linear. Mm-hmm. You know, there's going to be backslides sometimes. You know, I might go, you know, I might say no to an opportunity because I'm like, I'm losing to myself this time. It is what it is, you know? And I have those moments, and it sucks, and it's very hard for me to not beat myself up about it because I'm very quick to once again zoom in on the problems and not acknowledge all the like strides I've made. Mm-hmm. And I think that's also, I think some of that is a lot of that might just be a guy thing too, you know? We're so used to knowing, caring about our accomplishments that when we fuck up, we don't say, oh, look what we've done. Like, look what we've done, look how far we've come. It's like, we're like, nah, but we fucked up.
Mm-hmm. It's like focusing on the one negative thing and not the 99, like amazing things that you have done.
Yeah, that's an everyday struggle.
Yeah, I think it also depends on like what you define progress as. I feel like I'm for sure pre-Santiago or in the past, like a lot of that I'm sure was more external validation and external things of like, oh, I'm going to achieve this material object or this material thing that I know that I can have. But like now it seems like there could be more internal forms of progress. So what is can you give a definition of an internal form of progress for you now that you're striving for?
Healthy boundaries.
With what?
With myself. So for example, like, I'm not going to talk to myself like that anymore. You know, we're not doing that anymore. Healthy boundaries with my family. And what I mean by that is when people are going through a hard time, I can be there to support, but I don't have to emotionally get wrapped up in your vortex. Mm-hmm. That's not, I used to think that that's what love is. You're in a hole, I'm jumping down too. I'm jumping down into the hole. Emotional boundaries, it's like, and that's really tough for me, you know? And so that kind of stuff is really what I'm interested in nowadays because that's real life to me. You know what I mean? Like that's my everyday life that I deal with, that I've always been dealing with. but I had my career to distract me from what was really going on with myself or my family or, fuck it, I'm going on tour. I don't got to worry about this. I got an interview coming, or whatever, I'll get around to it.
For sure. 100%.
So, yeah.
I did want to ask a specific question about one particular song. Of course, we don't have time to dive into every single one, but I just picked one. So talking about moving in Wild, which is the story about like motivation and staying focused on your goals and resilience and that kind of stuff. Can you share a bit about how the process has been for you, shifting from dark motivation to light motivation?
Ooh.
And also, which one are you referring to in that song, dark or light?
Yeah, so dark motivation is when you're operating out of this fear-based place where you need to prove people wrong, and you're making an enemy out of your goals, and it's just a very it's not a sustainable way to operate. It's not a sustainable way to live, and I know a lot of people do the whole work for Michael Jordan. It's like he's a basketball player, and he did it while he was playing basketball. You know what I mean? We're people living life. You don't need to curate a problem with someone just to give you an extra chip on your shoulder so now you can be motivated. That's not sustainable. And light motivation, just doing it from love, going after what I want because I want to honor the gift of creativity that I've been giving. I want to honor the gift of connection I've been given with my fans. So I want to do something with it. I want to honor that. Kobe talks a lot about being in the gym constantly. That was honoring his gift. He got blessed with the gift of basketball and talent and all this shit. And the way you honor that gift is by going to the gym every day. So for me, it used to be I'm going to the studio every day so I can shit on everyone and let them know I'm the fucking best and fuck y'all and all this dark energy. Now it's I'm going to the studio every day because I have a fucking gift and I'm gonna honor it. And I'll be damned if I sit and just waste away. I have to honor this shit.
How was that shift for you?
It's fucking awesome because in the past I thought, well, how am I gonna conjure the hunger I had when I was broke? And I kept trying to pull from the same well. And you're gonna get stagnant if you keep trying to draw from that same well because it's not real anymore. I can't trick my brain into thinking that I'm still trying to make it. You know what I mean? But I don't need to trick my brain. I can just say, man, I'm fucking blessed to have this talent, to have these fans, to have the ability to express myself, to have the clarity to express myself. I'm going into the fucking studio. I got so much to say. I got so much to share,
So in the song Moving then, which one is it? Is it dark or light?
Moving is light motivation, Moving is it's one of those songs where it's just something nice to hear as a reminder that no matter what, keep it pushing, And I think where I'm at in my life now is I had to take a step back. I had to cancel a tour, And that was one of the hardest things I've had to do because fear of letting people down has been ruling my life forever, Fear of letting my mom down, my fans down. The way my priorities have worked was everyone else, then me. That's how it's always been. So moving is an important reminder to myself that I have to keep moving. And even if that means, and this is where I had to give myself grace, and this is where the unknown comes in. By canceling tour, I was moving forward. Because I was moving forward towards a life where I prioritize myself for once.
I think sometimes selfishness gets a bad rap, and I feel like sometimes it's necessary.
Absolutely.
For me, I think of the antidote to those kind of problems is radical self-love almost. You're supposed to do that for yourself. Calling off tour, fans get upset, fans do this, whatever, but that's a radical form of self-love for yourself. So it sounded like it was really important and necessary at that time.
Yeah. So well put.
And I wanted to mention that, like, in the past, I know that you talked about crediting a lot of your success to having, like, positive delusions. This is, I'm thinking of, like, earlier you and, like, it was on your head, yellow cover book. And in kind of explaining positive delusions further, believing that you were going to get everything that you wanted before you had it, whether that be, like, plaques or money or, like, whatever. Is that having that type of mindset something that you still stand behind and that you'd recommend to others starting off now trying to pursue their passions? Because it worked for you in the end.
Yeah, I think you absolutely have to believe in yourself. There's no way around it. We're all going through shit. We all have things we're struggling with. The truth of the matter is there are people that are less talented than you who are going to get to where you want to get to because they believe in themselves. So I do believe in positive thinking and believing in yourself for sure. I just know that that's not the whole picture.
So it's the part, not the whole.
Yeah, I think, but to answer your question, yeah, you need to believe in yourself. There's no way around it. I've met a lot of talented people who just didn't think that they could do it. It's really sad, and you can't believe in other people for them. We had friends growing up who were way better rappers than me, way better beat makers, way more musically inclined. They just didn't think they were good enough. They didn't believe in themselves, And I think the antidote, to use your word for that, is to once again honor the gift, recognize the gift. Like if I could tell those people I was growing up with who just gave up, if I could tell them something, it would just be, bro, maybe like, okay, you don't believe in yourself, but you should believe in the gift. The gift you can't deny. You can sit down and play guitar so fucking well and you've never taken a lesson, you've been playing for a month. Like there are certain things innately some people can just do that are fucking clear, like you have a gift. Believe in the gift and honor the gift and hone the craft and show up and celebrate the gift. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And kind of to add on to that, sticking with the topic of like growth, going after your passions, doing what you have to do. I actually have a question that I wrote in March of 2024 from a Discord stage that you did. You mentioned that, where is it? You were a proponent of the idea that in order to achieve your goal, especially as an artist, that you should work harder than you're paid, as a way of kind of showing your dedication and discipline and strive, and that if you don't do that, then you just don't want it bad enough. Is that something that you still believe in, and to what degree did that belief get you to where you are today?
Work harder than what you get paid?
Yeah.
That is why I got to where I got.
Do you still believe that that's holding grace for yourself?
We can just keep it on artists, right? I think you have to put your head down, not look up at the scoreboard for a long time, Like, make a bunch of songs, put a bunch of songs out, keep it consistent, and don't check the scoreboard for years. There's so many people who think they deserve something because, well, I've put 20 songs out. So? Where is there written that if you put 20 songs out, you get... That's the thing, people don't keep it real with themselves about what they're getting into. This is not college. This is not, if you go here 4 years, you get handed this piece of paper. That's a guarantee. That is not this. This is, you can make 1,000 songs and have 2 fans. There's no guarantee. So you're inevitably going to have to work harder than what you've actually gotten paid for. That's just, go ahead and get prepared for that.
With that, do you see any connection or blurring of the lines of like that and like hustle culture and like, working yourself to the ground till you have nothing less to give?
I hate hustle culture so much. It's like 24/7. No days off.
Is there any connection with that though, you think?
No, because I don't believe in hustle culture. I believe in sacrifice. And what I mean by that is, it's hard to do everything, It's hard to go to the studio consistently, work on your body consistently, make sure you're reading as many books as you want to be reading, doing all, like, yeah, you have to make sacrifices, you know? I don't know if I would have made it if I was trying to have a perfectly balanced life at the beginning. No, I had to sit in the studio for fucking months on end. I had to sacrifice sometimes of not seeing my sister or not seeing my family or missing out on this or missing out on that. I believe in sacrifice, but I don't believe you have to have zero balance in your life. You know?
Is it possible to make it without any sacrifice, you think?
No. Fuck no. No.
Yeah. We're getting a bit into my like random vault of questions from like a lot, so a bit unrelated but kind of related. A long time ago, I saw this random video on TikTok of somebody who was interviewing somebody else, and the person was like a chef in a restaurant, and they asked them what advice that chef would give any other professional in their field, and he responded, "Anybody who is good at anything knows they're not that good." I kind of wanted to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, I think as let me frame it by saying this. I have definitely become, yeah, you could close that door. I've definitely become my favorite artist for sure. With that being said, I go to the studio all the time because I still think I haven't made my best song yet. You know what I mean? And so
there's always room for growth.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people maybe misunderstood my messaging of like, I think I'm the best. That was kind of the shit I had to tell myself to keep me going when there wasn't any proof that I was even good. There was no fans. So it's like, well, if I tell myself something, if I tell myself something that reflects my reality, it would be that you suck. So I can't tell myself that. I'm gonna just tell myself I'm the best, and everyone else is just fucking late, you know. But the truth is that I always thought I needed to get better, and I still think like that. Now I don't like to go too black and white with it. I need to acknowledge what I've done and the music I have made, and the great songs that have been written and all that. But no, I think to that chef's point, it's like, yeah, everybody who's good at it knows, like, I wouldn't say you're not that good, but kinda. It's like, man, I don't know. I still gotta get way better.
And that speaks to like the notion of humility too.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like your opinion or your perception of humility has changed a lot over the years.
Yes.
How has it?
I used to say I hate the word humble, and I still, like, on a definition standpoint, I do. I don't like it. But humility, even though I know it's like the same fucking word, but I guess because I've reached this place where I learned enough about myself to recognize that there's still so much more I need to learn. And so I have the humility as I move forward in my life to know that there's going to be some things that don't go my way. And that's just how life goes. And it was arrogant to think anything different, you know? And by being humble in my approach with life and the future and the unknown, now, if and when, not even if, when some fucked up shit happens in the future, I'm not gonna let it fucking wreck me. As if like, how is this possible? How are there problems? You know what I mean? It's like, there's gonna be some fucked up shit. And it's always gonna be happening. There's always gonna be something to be grateful for.
So is life, you know?
Yeah, it's life, yeah.
So again, with that, but also kind of a bit of a topic switch, but music is a tool that you've used in the past and use currently to express yourself creatively, and clearly many people are receptive and resonate with your messages. I'm curious if, would you say that you're a good, would you say that you're a good communicator to your family, your partner, your friends, and has music helped with that in your communication skills?
Jesus. I think I communicate better through song, as like cliche as that sounds. I think in person I tend to get emotionally charged. And so like songs allows me to like breathe. You know, songs is you're getting my sort of like measured response to what I'm dealing with. In person, a lot of times, you know, I've gotten a lot better at it, but it's really hard for me to not spiral up and get really agitated and annoyed with a problem, with a mistake. And, you know, it's caused a lot of friction between me and my manager, to be honest. But me and him just had a really big breakthrough the other day because the cycle that we would get in is, you know, a mistake would get made and I would approach him, you know, I'd call him and I'd be like chewing his head off, you know, which doesn't put him in any position to take accountability. He puts him on the fucking defense. And so then he doesn't take accountability. He goes on the defense, which makes me even more pissed off. So then I start chewing his head off again, like, the fuck, bro? Like, why you do that? You know? And then he gets more defensive and it just goes around and around and around and around. And so in a song, I can communicate what's going on between us from a calm, measured place. But in real time, in the moment, I'm not that great at communicating, no.
I think that like it makes sense, and that's why they say that music is a universal language. Like I can't explain to you, you know, how love feels to me, but I can play you Missing You Crazy. Or I can't explain like loss, but I can play you Last Night. Like you know, there's certain things that I feel like music can explain better than words can, even though there's words in music. Even in different languages, like people resonate with songs that are in different languages for a reason. It's the vibrations that you're feeling in your body, and I think that it strikes an emotional chord. Like psychologically in your brain, there's something that connects you to music, and I think that's like beautiful because it also like in a way connects us to you in a way. So that's just really cool.
Wow. That's so true though.
Yeah. Another question.
I love the random vault.
These are my random ones. So over the past few years, you've dabbled in a lot of various forms of creative outlets. So not only are you a singer, rapper, producer, but now you've been a published author and an actor. What can't you do? And also what other creative outlets do you plan on exploring professionally? Personally, I think you make a great comedian. I feel like you have impeccable comedic timing.
Thank you.
Can we expect a motivational speaking tour? Like, what else do you have in store?
I've always flirted with the idea of doing stand-up. My brother does not think I'm funny at all, but I think I'm hilarious. Anyway, thank you for saying that. Acting is something I'm really, really into because it gives me community. And you guys know a little bit about my music-making process. It's fairly insular. It's very isolated, and I'm lacking community. And that's why this album with these two guys in the back was just so fucking fun, man, because I got to just make music with people. And I haven't, like, done that. Like, I did it with Santiago, but Santiago was really, like, all producers. And then I had Bibi Borelli there, who's an incredible songwriter, and so we, like, did hooks together. But this was just more, like, it was just more collaborative. It was the next step in collaboration, and it allowed me to feel a part of something with other people, you know, on a day-to-day basis. Every day we were making this shit. And so that's why acting for me, because I made this movie in October. It's like this, it's my first co-lead role, and it's coming out this October, like September, October. And it just opened my eyes to how important community is and how desperate I am for community. And I think a lot of us really, like everyone I've talked to, or maybe it's just everyone in my life, like start looking around being like, damn, I don't really have that many friends at all, man. You know? And it's like, shit. How do you make friends as an adult?
Be a stand-up comedian.
But it's, you know, it's important to have people to share your life with outside of just your partner, you know. It's important to just have people you can share stuff with. And like to that point too, you're very like well known amongst us and like everyone else on social media and Discord and stuff for being so extremely open and communicative with your fans.
And again, like I mentioned, it's led to so many amazing friendships and relationships. And people are married from Discord. I don't know if you know that, but people like...
I knew, yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
How many people? Just
I know of like, I think 2 or 3 couples
That's
from that.
wild.
Yeah.
That
So
is
like,
insane.
again, that's just absolutely amazing and insane.
matchmaker.
Yeah, for real,
Yes,
for
man.
real. And so you're also well known for like having fan involvement. So the voting platforms for cities to tour to, or songs to release, and set lists, things like that. And now you have a fan interviewing you. So like,
Yeah.
again, so much more involvement and community. But would you ever let a fan feature on one of your songs, or possibly collaborate with like the production, the beats? I wanted to shout out Maddie from Discord. She's awesome
fire.
with that, like actually fire.
Yeah, I would.
So I wanted to ask.
If it was
would you consider
incredible and
that?
I loved it, I mean, I have done that before. So Mike Hardy was a fan that was always sending me beats on Twitter, and one of them was really hard. So I did it, and we made this song called Old Days. He was a fan. So yeah, it's like, to me, greatness comes from all over. It doesn't just come from like established artists. There's so many incredible, like I said, I found these 2 guys on TikTok. They didn't have 1 million followers. How many followers did you have when I found you? 2,000? 2,000. Made the whole album with these guys. You know what I mean?
That's again, like what other artist does that? Like,
I just like shit that's fire. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So if it's awesome, I'm gonna fuck with it.
yeah,
You
game
know?
game recognizes game. So
Yeah. If it's good, it's good.
For sure. Okay, so I have a few last questions, and for
Sure.
this, the reason why I'm here is because of the Discord community. So I wanted to include questions from them, from people that couldn't be here today,
Okay.
and kind of give them a little bit of a shout out.
Beautiful.
So I think I have like 3 or 4. But from Angel from Discord,
Yes.
she asks, you talk a lot about manifestation. What is your dream or personal goal that you haven't spoken about publicly yet because it feels too vulnerable or too big?
None.
None.
No. And sometimes I feel like this is when I start having an existential crisis, so buckle up. Sometimes, oh God. Well, yeah, this part I haven't shared with the world. Sometimes I start feeling like, what's the point anymore? Like the opposite of what you're talking about, which is, I've done everything I wanted to do. I really did. I made a bunch of great music. I've impacted a shit ton of people. I've toured all over. I made it into arenas. I have platinum albums, I have platinum songs. I got my mom a beach house. I bought everyone cars out. I did everything I wanted to do. And so...
Do you feel fulfilled?
No. No. And I start getting in a real funky spot mentally because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make the album and then tour it, and then make another one, and then tour it, and make another one, and tour it. Why?
Is that not what you like to do, though?
It is, but sometimes I'm like, but what's the point? Like sometimes I feel like I'm tricking my brain into thinking there's still more left to do, and because I'm worried that what does my life look like if I actually say, I don't know, I think I'm done.
You're afraid to stop.
Yeah,
Why?
because I don't know what that looks like. The unknown.
Interesting.
It's scary though.
Yeah.
Because I start getting to that place and it just starts feeling, have you guys heard of that like Fisherman parable where it's like, man, I'm probably gonna butcher it, but it's some like there's a fisherman, he's out on his boat, it's a small boat, he's catching fish. Some American business dude pulls up and is like, oh, I wanna invest in you. You're catching a lot of fish. And the guy's like, what do I need that for? So the guy's like, well, so I can get you a bigger boat. The fisherman's like, then what? Well, then you can catch more fish. Then what? Then you can make money and have a bunch of boats and have a bunch of people catching you fish. Then what? Well, then you could just fish whenever you want. And the fisherman's like, isn't that what I'm doing right now?
That kind of like, as you're saying that, it reminds me of like, I think you're speaking about it earlier today or like earlier in this interview, but it's talking about like on that journey of like trying to achieve all your goals, like once you climb that ladder, once you get to the destination, like what are you left with? And that's at the end of the day yourself.
Yeah.
So isn't that what this whole thing is all about? Like, isn't the point just to like exist? Isn't the point just to like?
I think so, but I guess there's no way. How do I articulate this? Putting music out to me, I guess I still care more than I'd like to admit about numbers. Because putting out music to me still feels like I need to play some sort of game. I still like, I don't have it in me to just say, who cares about going number one? Who cares? I'm ambitious. I like beating people. You know what I mean? Like, I like winning.
Feels good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And I think part of me, though, desperately wants to just like make an album, tell no one about it, don't post anything on social media, and one day just say album Friday, post one link, and then get off social media again for 6 months. You know, but I'm like, yeah, but that would probably like flop week one, and then you're like a loser, and then no one cares. You're such a loser. Did I mention you're a fucking loser if you do that? You know, it's like, oh man, all right, well, anyway, I'm gonna sign 18,000 vinyl. It's like, okay.
It's actually a perfect segue into the next person's question, Stitch from Discord. She wanted to ask, have you ever resented music or resented like the process? Because it sounds like yes, it's your passion, yes, it's what you've been doing for so long.
Yeah.
But if you keep asking yourself like, all right, and then what, is it still your passion at the end of the day?
That's deep. Wow. Have I ever resented music? Shit.
The thinker.
Damn. Maybe I have.
Do you now?
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I think not necessarily music. Sometimes I resent becoming famous. So I resent my younger self. Because I'm like, damn, bro. It's a really stressful fucking life. I'm constantly sweating. You know? Like, so anxious all the time living this shit. There's so much I have to deal with. It's sick. I've seen a lot of places. My mom's good. My family's good. So that's cool. But did it need to get this big? Or did it need to even happen? Could I have just kept music as this light, airy hobby that never had any dirt thrown on it?
But you also mentioned in the past that it's because of survival that you got into it in the first place, wasn't it? You had to.
Yeah, but that's me trying to be the savior again. That's me not trusting my family to figure it out, you know? And it's noble to say, I got it. I'm gonna save all of us, you know? Like my old song, Titanic, you know? But it wasn't my responsibility to do that, you know?
You took it on anyways.
My parents didn't even put that on me. I put it on myself. I took it upon myself to be the hero. And so when you do that, you rob people of their competence. It doesn't foster confidence. It fosters mistrust. Because if you keep swooping in and saving people, all that communicates to them is you don't trust them. You don't trust that they can figure it out. And people are fucking resilient, man. Like, a lot of people, most people, when their back's up against the wall, they're not just gonna fucking, like, curl up in the fetal position. They're gonna go down swinging. They're gonna try something, you know?
But again, when you're in that survival mode, like, it's hard to trust people. So, like, it's understandable, but I get what you're saying.
No, it's definitely understandable, but I'm like, damn, that, you know, Yeah, there's definitely real thoughts I've had. I haven't shared that one with the world yet. I shared it with my therapist like a couple weeks ago. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. Sometimes I resent my younger self for doing all this shit, you know, because yeah, there's just times where it's not fun anymore, you know.
And like that makes me think, like for me personally, I remember growing up like in school and stuff, people always tried to say like try to find your passion and make money from that. Like that's what's gonna make you feel good. It's like finding a job that doesn't feel like a job because it's doing what you love. And then like in the moment it made sense, but now thinking about it, it's like for me it kind of feels like we're feeding into that capitalistic like everything has to be about money. Why can't you just make music to make music?
Right.
Why can't you do your passion, do what you love for the sake of doing what you love? And
I
always
agree.
associating with money.
I agree 100%. And I know, like, you know, I think I contradict myself a lot, you know, and I think that's natural, you know, because I agree with what you're saying in the sense where it's like, maybe your passion.
That's what makes it not fun.
Maybe your passion should just stay your fucking passion, you know? As soon as your passion is what is paying the bills, the fun gets sucked out of it quick. Because now you need it to hit this threshold numerically and monetarily. It's got to do this. Or what? You know? There's been more songs than I'd like to admit that I have looked at lesser than because they didn't do something numerically or monetarily. And that comes from the pressure that's on the music to pay the bills. Like, no, you can't just be a little fucking hidden gem. You need to go, like this is me talking to my son, you need to go out there and fucking perform. I need you to. That's not what the fuck this was supposed to be about. But, okay, I'll just be like, yeah, it's fine, it's okay. It's like, that doesn't pay the fucking bill. So, to your point, yeah, I think, that's kind of, I think, where the resentment comes from, is the music right now in my life has all the pressure in the world on it to make money, take care of my family. So it's like, you know, it's triggering for me when people, I hate using buzzwords, but it's triggering for me when fans say like, oh, I wish you could make shit like your old stuff. So do I. Do you think that like maybe life was simpler? Do you think it's more stressful to create from a place of no bills and no responsibilities versus taking care of an entire family? Like, which do you think is the easier place to create from? That's why back then I was able to make songs about fucking driving around, ride slow. That's how simple my life was. Like, yeah, that's how little problems I had in my life. It was just ride slow. I'll be there at 3.
Yeah. So maybe
You know what I mean?
what you need to do is make a song for yourself now. Like again, circling back to radical
it's
self-love.
so hard. It's such a vicious loop I'm in right now. Every once in a while I have breakthroughs, you know? And I think this is where the contradiction comes in. I think the music I make is awesome and I love it and it's free and it's liberating and the music on this album is my favorite music I've ever made and there's real creative, just creatively free moments throughout the whole project, but I do miss when life was simpler. It's easier to create. It just is, you know? It's, yeah, I mean, I look back at all those songs, Someone to Drink With. Think about how simple of a song that is. I just need someone to drink with. That was the problem in my life. Was that I wanted somebody to share this $10 bottle of fisheye wine from Chevron with. Any takers? You know what I mean? Like, that was where I was at creatively. Like, in the studio, like, man. Or, like, Moonlight in Atlanta. That was just me, like, wow.
There's the moon.
It's a fucking moon. It's sick.
So does that mean that now when you make music, are the numbers always on your mind every single time?
For sure. And now it's like, fuck it, I love you, boy. And it's like, holy fuck.
Wow.
This shit got deep.
That's even more pressure then, because it's like holding both, okay, I'm focused on the numbers, but also like, you're talking about deep shit, you're talking about personal, vulnerable stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm sure, like, for you, like, equating those numbers to, like, how important that actually is, or how good you were able to represent yourself in that.
Yeah, it's tough, because like I said, my life, my family's life, it relies on music doing well commercially, money-wise, straight up. There's no other way to put it.
Even now,
Yeah.
you can't just make music and just
And what, hope that, like, it'll just work out?
Yeah.
I could. That's scary.
You should try
That's
it.
just a free-falling place. No, but I'm not saying I make music from a place of I'm only going to make shit I think is going to make money. If that was the case, I wouldn't have fucking made Santiago. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have done a deep therapy album. I would just sit in the studio and try to crank out as many moves and controls as possible. But I'm just highlighting the difficulty in creativity when you're younger and you have less responsibilities. You're just creating from a way purer place. Rick Rubin talks about keeping that childlike wonder in the studio and create from that place. Well, it's easy to keep it when you're closer to being a child.
And more naive. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's harder to do it when your life's a little bit more complex. And I had this conversation with my therapist, and he actually said something really that I've always carried with me, which is most people's lives are complex, And so you just now need to figure out how to deliver the complexities in a simplistic way. And that's always my challenge. I never want to go over people's heads, So on a song like I Love You Boy, like I'm going to call it I Love You Boy, to try to make it clear, like I Love You Boy was never said in that entire song. The hook is not even saying that. The hook is saying I loved you more than I did before. So I'm like little things like that where I'm trying to make it easy enough to digest while still delivering something complex.
And authentic to yourself.
Yeah. And it's tough because it's really easy to deliver Ride Slow or Down for You. I need a crazy bitch that's down for me. Pretty simple. You know what I mean? But every once in a while, I don't know, man. Creativity is weird. It's a weird, thing to sort of try to wrap your head around because there's so many contradicting moments and random moments. Like, I've just noticed that when my brain turns off and I get a visceral reaction in my body and I feel possessed, that's when I make my best shit. That's 315. That's Handsomer. And I know Handsomer got I feel like it got overplayed, but Handsomer was bananas. When I first made it, I knew it was out of here, Because I know how I feel in the studio. I know that feeling of when it's this isn't even me doing this. This is some other shit going on. I'm just the vessel, and some shit is communicating with me, and I'm doing because how did this melody pop in my head? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
You can't touch it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
315, going to a Turkish restaurant with my girl and my mom, and that sample plays over the speakers. What if we would have left 10 minutes earlier? Then 315 doesn't happen. So just moments where you really feel God's presence, the universe.
Yeah, connected.
Yeah, and what's so tough for me as a creative and as somebody who's ambitious is constantly searching for a miracle. That's what chasing hits is. Hits are miracles. You know how many different things have to happen to catch a big song like 315? First of all, I had to decide to go to the Turkish restaurant to hear this song that I would end up sampling. We had to stay there for as long as we did. I had to come home, write what I wrote. It had to come out at the right time with culture and TikTok and whatever. And somebody on TikTok had to post this kind of video that made so many things have to happen. And the appetite comes with the meal in this life. The more you get, the hungrier you get, You won't be that hungry for a platinum plaque if you've put out 1,000 songs and never even sniffed 1,000 streams, But because I know I'm capable of making songs that reach a lot of people and connect a lot of people, I'm like, why can't I just do that every time?
Mm-hmm. There's
Why-
that pressure coming back in.
Yeah, it's like, because I know I'm capable of it. I guess the closest thing I could equate it to, but it's not this, because this is more in your control in a sense. But if you're an athlete and you just scored 60 points in the game, you're like, dog, if I can do that, why can't I just fucking do it every time?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so you might score 15 the next game, which is objectively still an okay game, but you're like, nah, bro,
Yeah.
that's bullshit.
I think that's where you have to come to terms with, like, you can only control what you can control.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
so tough.
Yeah.
It's so tough to detach from the results when your life depends on the results.
Yeah.
That's the conversation I have with Buddhists all the time. It's like, man, when we were younger, just living at our parents' house and we didn't have bills and we're making songs in the basement, it's like, we didn't care what the song did because our lives didn't depend on it. So that kind of goes back to what you're saying with like keeping the passion. You know, and some people have said, I think Nipsey said this, like, get something outside of the music that's making money that can pay your bills so that the music can go back to being. And it's like, at first it sounded good, and then I was like, well, but then wouldn't that thing have all the pressure on it? Because then the music is sitting there in the wings like, hey, you better fucking perform. You like, and so I guess the answer to that question is there's no life that exists without pressure. And like I said, this album, and I know sometimes I get embarrassed talking about this shit because I've always felt such a late bloomer with like maturity and like growing the fuck up. Because I feel like I got money at 23 and success, and I lived in this suspended la fucking land for years because I could afford to. And now I'm realizing like, damn, so like bad stuff's always gonna happen. And like there's always gonna be pressure and it's like, yeah, I just could have swore that I had so much more influence than that.
Yeah, I think that's not something to be embarrassed about, though. I feel like,
Thank you.
Again, like everyone goes through that. Everyone's understanding of the fact that life is the way that it is, and things happen at different periods of our life, from childhood, young adulthood, like past that, you know. So I think that maybe that's another thing that you need to give yourself some more grace for.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know how that kind of came across from the second question from the Discord member, but
what the question was.
I don't remember it.
I apologize.
No, you're good. So another question from a Discord member, Kim, who was at the other interview today. But
Nice.
she says, if you were to make a set list for just yourself, so kind of related to this, for just yourself and not what you think the crowd or fans would want, what songs would you choose? I have my list, but I want to hear your list first.
Wow. Yeah, we were talking about this off camera, how it's funny that my set list is curated in a way that aligns with my need for validation. And I had this conversation with my therapist before the last tour. And he said, have you ever heard of the 80-20 rule with set lists? And I said, no. And he said, 80% is for them, 20% is for you. And I was like, well, that's scary. Because I need to play songs that they like and that they're gonna sing along to. Because if they're not singing along and they're just looking at me perform, like, this sucks. Like, I'm doing a shitty job, it's a bad show, and like, I just want everyone to have so much fun every single fucking song, so I will play whatever will give me that.
What would you choose, though?
What would I choose as the set list for just me, not caring if people knew the fucking songs? Oh my God, it's hard to even like separate myself from approval. What do I like? Who am I?
Just think of yourself right now.
I think Bankrupt, Titanic, Someone to Drink With, I Love You Boy, Scared, I don't know if there's really a wolf, Voicemail, Begging You, it's really tough because I'm thinking about what songs do I want to perform, and I can't help but keep thinking, well, I want to perform the songs that they want.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow, it's so hard to think of what you want.
It's so hard to think about what I want because shows aren't about what I want. To me, but I'm trying to get better at that because it's tough. For my shows at this point, there's fans who have been there 7 times. This is their 7th time seeing me. And so then I feel bad when I'm like, God damn, no. You sure you want to come? Because like, it's going to be a lot of the same songs. But I'm like, there's also so many fans who hit me up every tour like, it's my first time seeing you. And what do I look like not playing Losing Control? Can you imagine? Like, I'm looking at myself, like, as a fan of me. I go to Russia. You don't play fucking Losing Control. I'm rioting.
Yeah.
You know
I think
what I mean?
that the 80-20 rule kind of makes sense then. Is like the majority of it should be like your hard hits, but like for people that have been to 7 or 10 of your shows, I'm sure they will have even more appreciation for like the lesser played songs. It's like, oh wow, this is such an amazing experience to hear this song that you rarely ever sing. So I think even that could be more like impactful.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I took a step in that direction last tour and it was good, and I'm going to do it again this tour. Like, I'm going to do the hits because of those reasons I just said. Like, somebody's first show, and I'm not going to do what they want.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do it myself. But with that being said, it's like, all right, so I might play 20 to 23, 25 of, like, the hits that we all know. But then I'm going to do the songs off the new album that I want to do. Like, I'm going to do this song I have on the new album called Trying. That's so fucking hard. And I don't give a fuck how many streams it does. I'm doing it.
As you should.
Thank you. I'm going to do, what other songs do I want to perform off the album? This song called Forever. That is just fucking, to me, it's like, I've always said I didn't ever really make love songs. I made relationship problem songs, which is real. I didn't have love in my life in that department. Now I have love in my life in that department, but there's still problems. And so this song, Forever, to me is like one of the best relationship problem songs I've ever made. So I'm going to do Trying, because now I'm about to give you the set list from the album.
Okay. Write this down, guys.
I'm going to do Trying. I'm going to do Forever. I'm going to do a song called, I'm going to try to do this song called Right Now. But that fucking hook is bonkers high. So I probably won't sing the hook. But it's such a good song. I want to do a song called Cyclone off the new album. I'm going to do a song called Go Up, which is just this like disgustingly hard rap song. It's like chomping your head off fucking raps. Also, for all the Chomp fans, the album starts off vicious. First song is just barring up, second song is dumb.
I love that.
Then what else? Trying, Forever, Right Now, Cyclone, Go Up, Crazy, obviously. Crazy, such a smash. Moving. Maybe, Pent Up in a Penthouse.
For sure.
That's 8. And then I'll probably throw in some like, because that might be it off the album. I gotta look again. But then I'll throw in some like just throwbacks. This is where I'm gonna allow y'all to vote. Because like y'all don't need to vote on like should Losing Control make the set list. It's making it. You know what I mean? But I want to like throw up songs like Titanic, Someone to Drink With, We Just Haven't Met Yet, Moonlight in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like those songs that were like on SoundCloud that are kind of slept on.
Yeah.
Because personally, I want to do Someone to Drink With. So actually, I'm doing it anyway. So that one won't be on the voting campaign.
Yeah, I wanted to share my list too. I have Bankrupt, 3 a.m., Voicemail, Status, and Lake Como.
Status?
Yeah, that's my favorite song.
Holy
like
shit.
My brother and I rap it like in the car all the time. So
the
it's
flows
like,
on that are
it's so hard.
Yeah, wow, thank you.
Yeah,
Lake
sure.
Como, really?
Yeah, I like that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure.
See, Lake Como is one of those songs. I thought it was awesome. It came out, it didn't do shit, and I'm like, meh. And that's a problem. You know, me and Bugas have this conversation all the time, man. It's like, we can't, as artists, we can't allow the numbers to make us feel less about our songs. Like, that's fucked up. Oh, you only like your song after it comes out if it got 100 million streams? That's such conditional love with your own music, you know?
Yeah. And again,
It's
too, like for example, if you were to sing that like on tour, like for me as somebody who knows that song, loves that song, like that would be such a cool experience for me, and I'm sure so many other people. So that's even more of incentive. Like play those sleepers. Like even if it's not the whole, arena that knows it, there's gonna be some, and I think that's gonna mean a lot to them.
Well, here's the dilemma. We were talking about this off camera too. As much as I want to do some songs for me at the shows, there is also a truth to a performance that you do too many songs that people don't know, and I've done it before, the energy gets sucked out of the room. And then it's an uphill battle the rest of the night trying to get them back to that place. It's like, for example, if I did What They Want, Do It Myself, Pull the Trigger, Cycle Part 2, Losing Control, Goodbye, boom, right? It's fucking turn, everyone's going crazy. And then if the next 5 is like, fuck that, Off Zoo, Status, I Love You Boy, Money on Me, it's like,
To play devil's advocate though.
Now.
To play devil's advocate though, like yes, that the energy gets sucked out, but that's from your perspective from the stage. You don't necessarily know what the fans are feeling in the audience because you know everything.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
No,
So
you're so right. Well, you know what
So-
it is? It's once again, if I play a song that everybody's singing along to, they're not looking at me. I'm no longer being perceived. They're distracted. And so now I can be more comfortable here. Or I could drink, but I'm not going to do that. Right?
Anymore.
Yeah, but if I do a song that nobody knows, well, now they're all really looking at me because they don't have anything distracting them. And now it's like, what are y'all looking at? Turn around.
That's true. I think there's points to be made on both sides. So
I should just
I hear
perform
that.
with my back to the It's like performance art. No, I promise.
It's part of the process. Yeah.
It's part of the album.
Another question from Rachel from Discord.
Yep.
Your immersive experiences for the Santiago listening party meant so much to your fans. I was also at the Atlanta one, and that was so sick for me to experience. Do you think that you'll ever create another moment like that? And is that something that we could see with Wild?
Where's Jared at? Jared will know this one. We're trying. They cost so much money. That Santiago, all of those cost me $4 million of my own money. And for reference, Santiago did not make anything close to that. I've lost so much money on Santiago, and I still love it. It costs a lot of money. That's the reality. And once again, it's tough for me to. This is the con of wearing so many different hats. It's tough for my business brain because as an independent artist, I'm the label, right? I'm my own label. It's tough for me as a business hat on to say, you spent $4 million and that album made $300,000. Maybe you don't need to do that again. And so we're trying to pull this crazy shit off for Wild. It's coming in at an outrageous number. At first, to do one thing, they were talking about 1.5. I'm like, you're on meth. It's not happening. But we're trying to it's been a back and forth.
Wow.
So I'm trying, but my business hat comes on and is like, hey dipshit, remember when we did this last time? It didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so it's tough for me to once again, just no, it's all good.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
and again,
I hate that it comes down to that,
Yeah.
but it's damn, bro.
You can only do so much.
I can do it. It's just my business manager gave me some of the best piece of advice ever. He said, once you get, and I don't know if this only applies to once you get rich. He said, once you get rich, it's no longer, can I afford this? It's, should I? And that's been tough for me because I'm like, if I can, I should.
I feel that.
Okay,
And
what do you mean?
to that point too, I do want to also just say the fact of you doing those Santiago experiences is so again, now hearing the economic cost of all that, it really changed. It's cool to get the behind the scenes of that. But as a fan going to those events, that experience is something I will never ever forget.
Yeah.
Like
it's the coolest shit ever.
I shared like a hotel room with like 10 other Discord people. We were just like all together and like all came together
from
sleep? On the floor. I have videos like under the chair, under the desk, two to a bed, two to a bed. They must have remembered
that from like elementary school, briefing like, for a fucking tornado.
Just like doing
Incredible.
that,
10 people. Holy shit!
And like coming to your event, yeah, honestly, like and just like.
But that's the community shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think, not to interrupt you, because it's
no.
But I'm so proud that we did those events. Yeah. I think it was really, really special. And I think there's a big part of me that wants to always do shit like that for every album. But I'm like, look, I got a lot of money, but if I keep doing that, I won't. And like, I got to take care of my whole family. And like, holy shit, I can't keep spending $4 million on albums that make 400.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
And the reason why I wanted to bring it up is just, again, just to share like and express like from a fan to you, like the appreciation and gratitude for that. And like I, for one, recognize like you didn't have to do that. You could have just like released the album, we listened to it, like that's the done deal. But like the extent that you went to 3 different experiences, all so unique in their own ways, and like getting to meet you, getting to ask you questions, like that's, again, no other artist does shit like that, you know what I mean? So that's, again, why I feel like your community, your fandom is so like special and strong. In a way that, like, again, like I listen to a lot of other artists that, like, sure, like I can ask them questions on their Instagram lives and they know who I am, whatever, but does not even come close to the way that you like share your life with your fans.
Thank you.
And that you allow them into your life. Thank you. Truly from the bottom of my heart, like I really do appreciate that, and we don't take that for granted. So I wanted to say that.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you.
For sure.
No, and I want to do sick shit with this album, just because. It's also just about expressing myself. You know, sometimes you can only say so much in the music, and like, you know, and I, you know, like I said, that whole can I afford it, should I afford it? I like doing nutty shit because it's awesome.
You can do cost-effective nutty shit too. We support that.
That's cool. Won't be as sick.
I'm sure there's ways to do it.
See, then I'm doing like the comparison thing, like, fuck, man, like, I went so above and beyond for Santiago. How do I compete with that? Like, I can't just do some whatever shit. It's got to be like something
even better.
It's got to be crazy. It can't just be like, yo, I don't know. It's got to be sick. So, but yeah, I wish it wasn't that. You know, I wish it didn't just come down to like, it's too much fucking money to just keep doing. But
again, that's the reality, and like
it's real things I gotta consider. You know, it's like I don't get investments from people. Like I fund all my shit. You know, pay for all of it. Like I paid $800,000 up front for 80,000 vinyl. You know, and we sold 20,000 of them something. So it's like I'm losing money, but it's like that is what comes with this. It's like. You want to be your own label and like be an independent artist, you're putting the money up.
Yeah.
You know, so it's it's just things that a bunch of shit I gotta juggle, you know. I think, you know, to get like real practical, one of the things I'm very proud of is that I have been able to maintain my money and not blow it, you know. I look at my house sometimes and I'm like, damn man, I've lived here longer than we lived in any house growing up. Like that's a sense of pride for me. Like I'm proud that I can still be in this house.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think there's a real fear of losing it all. There's a real fear of making that one bad money move that all of a sudden like is momentum and then like streams go down and then oh my God, you thought you were gonna get like that forever. Huh? You know, it's like these are real thoughts. So like I get real paranoid with shit like that. And I've always been like that with money. It's not necessarily cheap because I spend a ton of money on ridiculous shit. But it's just when it's you and you alone, you know, taking care of people, you can't just be on some whatever shit. You gotta look at everything 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
And that makes sense. Like you had no other choice but to do that, or else like you would lose all your money. So
Exactly.
that makes sense. And again, we as fans do understand that, so you don't have to do crazy events.
I'm still gonna try
every
to pull
time
it
you
off.
drop an album, you don't have to have every single event,
I
but we do
want to.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course. All right.
Yeah.
So my last question is honestly, a lot of the fans wanting updates for certain things that you mentioned that you're going to do. So I'm going to go by one by one. The first one, when is T-Pain coming on Spotify or dropping on Spotify?
Oh, shit. We could do that whenever. Can you backdate it though? Do you know you can make it so that it's not like my most recent release, it's just on Spotify? Just so it doesn't pop up as is that even possible? Yeah, we'll look into it.
Okay.
I just keep forgetting.
Yeah, that's why I'm around you. There we go.
Yeah. And that went like viral on TikTok, or it is going viral. The past,
I'm like seeing it now too, like
but now
come back
because
again.
the song isn't out, they just think it's T-Pain's song.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
That's so funny.
That's so much money.
And similarly, can you put Inside on Spotify?
Inside.
Yeah.
Oh, the SoundCloud.
Yeah. Staying inside, not going out.
Shit.
I like that one.
I like that one. I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Reminder.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
What else you got?
Palermo. When's that dropping?
Palermo. Palermo should be September-ish. September-ish. Here's why it ended up getting delayed. The shit I use in my hair is ready. But then I was like, well, wait a second. Doesn't it make sense to make stuff for all hair types? Isn't that the natural? I look at it like my music, right? It's like I didn't make a song, drop a song, make a song, drop a song when I was doing a song a week. I had 26 in the stash so I could be consistent. And I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna put out my curly hair shampoo and people are gonna be like, when are you making something for straight hair? And I'm just gonna be like, fuck, I should have thought of that.
Sounds like you're wanting to people please everybody.
A little bit. So now it's like, okay, I'll get the curly hair ready and then wavy and straight and I don't know.
Okay.
Fine, maybe it'll be fucking next year.
All right, so to be determined. Next thing, you mentioned you wanted to do a podcast, kind of
I don't
similar.
know about that.
R&R.
I just feel like I'm gonna get canceled, like episode 1.
You won't.
There's no shot that that doesn't mean that I'm gonna say some foul shit. It just means that like, I'm just gonna be rambling.
Isn't that what you do in Discord anyways?
Yes.
And that'll be recorded and put on YouTube?
Yes.
So what? Do it.
I feel like it would be a little bit more unhinged. Because I have a room in my house that's like set up for podcasts. And like, I don't need anyone there to do it. So it would just be me in a room in my house, ultra comfy, just talking.
I think that sounds amazing.
Now that I say it out loud, I think once again, the fear of it is just, but if I do the podcast, I'm going to get bigger. And more people are going to be looking at me. And, it's just that, damn, man. Fuck. It's like that same
cycle.
That same, I was going to do this artwork for this album because I kept having this visual where it was me floating up like a balloon because I kept seeing this over and over in my head. It's me floating up like a balloon and I'm like so happy. I'm just like floating up. And then this like disgruntled, like angry, resentful me keeps jumping up and grabbing my fucking foot back down. Where do you think we're going? You know what I mean? And that's how it constantly feels. Like, oh, that is a good idea. Wow, that would be fun. Oh, now where are you going? Yeah, I got to get through that.
It also just sounds like you're overthinking it too, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, well, no kidding. Yeah, that's...
Okay, so maybe to be determined for that too, maybe.
Yes. God,
right.
I'm tired of myself.
We aren't.
Yeah, well, okay.
All right, so speaking of yourself, the last one is, you mentioned, I think it was last year, 2 years ago, that you wanted to make a movie about yourself, like write it yourself, star in it.
Yes.
Could that still be something that we see
That
in
is
the
something
future?
that is like actually a very big priority right now. So the script is written, we have a producer on board.
Wow.
Yeah, we're doing that. That one is for sure happening.
Wow. Do you have a time frame?
No, because... So the way it works, or how it's been explained to me, you get a script, which we have. You get a producer, which we have. the producer then goes and sort of assembles the Avengers, right?
Mhm.
He goes and gets a good director. He goes and gets like one other actress who's like popping, right? And so now you have a producer, a script, a director, me who can like sell tickets to a movie theater, and another like popping actress who can like sell tickets. And you take that package and you go to the studios or you go to like Netflix, Hulu, and you pitch it to all of them and you say, anyone in? And you hope that one of them says, yeah, I'll buy it for X amount of money, and then they pay for the development of it. Or you get the package and you fund it yourself. So you can imagine which route I'm probably going to end up taking. So that's, once again, it's like that's another thing where it's like, how much is that? Oh.
Yeah. So
right.
maybe don't do
so maybe
the wild events.
Wild. Yeah, I don't know. It's, whatever. We're going to figure it out. But that movie is for sure happening.
Cool.
I'm so amped about it because I got this one coming out this year. And I'm really excited about that one. That one is like
I'm super excited for that. That's awesome.
We just did a meeting 4 days ago, 5 days ago about it. So very real thing.
Yeah. You mentioned, I think, that you would consider having fans as extras.
Yes.
Is that something that you still do?
Why not?
Cool.
Yeah. Depends on where we shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The extras in that, the fans in that city.
Cool. So good to know for us.
Yeah. I don't think they like shoot anything in LA like that because the taxes out here. Like, no, it's just so expensive to shoot. So they shoot everything in like, Toronto or fucking, they're not shooting shit in New York, they're shooting it in Toronto.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was all my questions. So thank you
again
again
Zainab.
so
Make
much.
some noise for Zainab. That was so good.
Thank you.
And I just want to, say thank you to everyone who came tonight. I know it's late. I'm fucking exhausted. And I think I'm just mainly spiritually tired of myself and emotionally tired of myself. But I do want to thank all y'all for coming and just being along for this ride, I know that everyone has their own shit going on, and I don't ever want to come off like feel sorry for me or none of that. That's not at all what the MO is. The MO is I just want to express what I'm going through in hopes that it creates another point of connection for us and I can make some fucking good songs from it and you guys enjoy it and it does something for you, And I also want to say, for anyone coming to any of the shows, I appreciate you because I know it's fucking a fucked economy. And to spend whatever money you have on concert tickets almost seems unwise. You know what I mean? Wow. Thank you so much. So it's like, it's not lost on me how artists are having a hard time selling tickets. It's not what it used to be. There used to be less artists touring because there was just naturally less artists out. And so there wasn't so much competition and the economy wasn't as fucked. So for people to still be buying tickets to come see me, especially when it's like, bro, I've seen you 6 times. It's like, oh, I don't even know why you came twice. Like, I'm super, like, I get if you wouldn't even come one time. You know what I mean? Like, because I can't even do that. I used to think like that. Real fans will go to the show. Not true. Not true. Some fans don't have disposable income. And they're bigger fans than people at the fucking show. I'm a massive fan of artists. I've never seen live. I have no desire to see live. So I just don't like shows. That's also like quite the conundrum.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Given the profession that you're in.
I hate concerts. So I think that's also why I'm like, I can't believe people come see me. Because it's not an activity I would do. I think everyone sounds like shit. I hate when they do different renditions of the song. Like where they change the melody. Don't change the melody. Like, imagine if I started to sing Losing Control and I just start changing the melody of Losing. It was a hit for a reason, dog. Sing so the funny. Shit we know. I don't know, now I'm going off on my like band team because I've gone to shows and I'm like, bro, get the fuck off stage.
I want to say quickly too, I don't know if I've actually ever told you this, but the first show of yours I went to, I was in grad school.
You changed the melody.
No, I was in grad school in Vermont and you had a show, you had a show in Montreal. So I drove 2 hours, crossed the border by myself just to see you. like perform, then
Shit.
came back home that same night. So like that's
what Montreal show was that?
2022? No, couldn't have been. 2021, I think.
Okay.
It was Laval.
That was
Laval, yeah.
That was a really good show.
It was an amazing show. Like I have like
Montreal's
a video.
fucking nuts.
I have a video reaction of me like exiting the venue, just talking to myself on my phone. Like that was the sickest shit ever.
Yeah,
And like mind
that
you,
was a crazy show. But see, like I rely so much on the fans' energy.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to have fun on stage if the fans are like not crazy, and that's something I gotta work on. You know, I envy artists who can just like, you're just up there having a ball, even though like they're not. You know what I mean? Like, how? I could do it when I used to like just get hammered on stage. Like that's easy, but
That's hilarious.
you know, and I feel bad for certain cities because there's cities that I wouldn't go to again because the fans just weren't engaged in the way I wanted them to be. But it's like, yeah, but maybe that's how they enjoy shows.
Maybe that's how they vibe
It's
out.
not good enough for me.
Yeah.
Be this kind of fan or else. Like, it's so
But
bad.
Montreal was crazy.
Montreal was crazy.
Like I remember leaving that being like that was genuinely, I think till this day actually, the best concert I've ever been to.
Wow.
Mind you, I've seen J. Cole live front row. I've seen a
Holy
lot of
shit.
so many like amazing artists like front row.
man.
And I think to this day that show in particular is the best one I've ever been to.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
One of my biggest fears is scrolling on my TikTok and seeing a video that says, I went to Russ's concert and it was awful.
No.
That's one of my biggest fears. Whenever I scroll on TikTok and a video, like a concert footage of mine comes up, I immediately scroll past.
No.
Oh my God, there was one from like Gulf Shores show, like in Alabama. Wait, you saw it? Oh, I don't even want to fucking know then. But I was like, this has a lot of likes. I'm scrolling. I don't know what this is. Because it's just like...
Yeah, but I crossed the border for you, so.
Thank you.
And back the same night. So.
I think also, I do try really hard. So it sucks when shit doesn't, when people don't like it. I try really hard, man. Yeah. That was a good show. I'm going to go look at that video now. Was it good or bad, what they were saying? Bad? Oh, God.
I got a slow blink.
Oh, my God. I'm going to spiral tonight and doom scroll on my fucking bed until 3 a.m.
Let's not do that.
Oh, they said it was a great show. Was it the pants I was wearing? Was it that video? I saw that video. That was awkward. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
But yeah,
That's
again,
a good video. I constitute that as a good thing. It's a good video. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm fucking completely rambling. But yeah, if I say all that to say, I appreciate everyone who comes to a show. Because I know you don't have to. I know you have a million better things to spend money on. And it means a lot. And just listening to my music means a lot. Giving my new music a chance. There's a line on my new album. Sorry, I'll wrap it up. There's a line on my new album where I say, how long will they be open to, how long will they be open to receiving my message? I'm 32 now. How long will they be open to receiving my message? I'm 32 now. If you were in the genre that I'm in, you worry too now. And what I mean by that is it's not lost on me that it is hard to maintain care from fans as a musician as you get older. People naturally don't care as much. And I always get real freaked out. And I'm like, what if this is the last song people care about? Because you don't know when it is. And what I mean by that is, if you go to a Bon Jovi show or Bruce Springsteen, those fans don't give a flying fuck what he just put out. They're like, play your shit from 77. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reality. And it's like, I don't know what his last new song was where people were like, and I'm out. I'm done. And I don't know what it's going to be for me. And I don't know how I will be able to function if I really know people don't care about what I'm doing anymore. You know? And so that also makes me really hyper vigilant and not able to give myself any time off because I'm like, dog, people care still.
Mm-hmm.
I have to take full advantage. I have to give them every single song that I've ever made in my entire life while they're still looking at me and still caring. You know what I mean? Those are like real thoughts I have because I'm like, what if the next album, it's like, and it's just.
Yeah. I hear that fear, but also like if you were to stop making music tomorrow, the legacy that you'd have is still incredible.
Yeah,
and like I know that you're not going to do that,
you
but
know what it is? I don't know how to exist without making music and sharing it. I've spent, at this point, I've spent more years of my life making music than I haven't. I started making music at 14. I'm 32. I've been making music for 18 years. I don't even know what that shit looks like. To be like, oh, it's all good. Like, I had a good run. I don't know. What am I going to do with my fucking time?
Yeah.
You know? How do I find my place in the world if I don't find it through music and connecting with fans? So
Yeah.
that's scary.
Like asking yourself, what are you outside of music?
Oh, boy. Yeah. You want me to fucking spiral, then that's that.
I don't think we have the time for that. But
Yeah. That's 2 hours more. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's why I've had to build out my life, work on becoming a better son, better brother, better friend, better partner, all that, because you're right, it can't just be, you're just an artist. It's got to be more than that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate everyone coming out. I will stop rambling. Make some noise for Zainab one more time. Thank you, Zainab.
Thank you.
Incredible.